Okay, OBS is up. YouTube. Hey, YouTube. There we go. Okay, YouTube is now receiving content. As Brian would say on Talks Machina, are we live on the internet? We are live on the internet. Hello and welcome to Gilmore's Glorious Gossip, a show dedicated to Critical Role over on the Geek and Sundry Twitch channel. Welcome to anyone joining us live, and don't worry if you can't stay. As always, we will be posting this on Monday. Many thanks to Akuma Mika at EmmaFrost91 for this glorious logo. This week features more amazing pieces of fan art. The fan art you are currently seeing is by Lo Brockhoff at LHOBROCKHOFF over on Twitter. And later you'll be seeing fan art by Damian Pierce at Eldritch Cupcake. Love that name, by the way. Eldritch Cupcake on Twitter. A piece by Alyssa McCarthy, found on Tumblr at Ally McCart, ALYMCCART.tumblr.com. And finally a piece by Lynn at rlynnarts. If you'd like your fan art featured here, please let any of the show's hosts know via Twitter, either using the official at Gilmore_gossip, or our direct Twitters, and we'll do our best to get it on the show. Or you can email it to us, Gilmore's Glorious Gossip, all one word, at gmail.com, or catch us on Tumblr, Gilmore-gossip.tumblr.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can catch us each and every week. I'm Akiva, found on Twitter at AkivaDavid, AKIVADAPHYDD. And joining me today is my excellent friend. Please introduce yourself and let's answer a question in our introduction this week. PJ Smith from YouTube wants to know, assuming you would come in during the current point in the campaign, if you were a guest on Critical Role, what would be your character?
Oh goodness. Hi guys, I'm Jessica, or Jess, found at Jessie LR Leaf over on Twitter. And my character would be an ASMR.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would it would have to do with one of the gods and probably kind of, cross paths accidentally with Vox Machina and just be like, what are you doing? I'm trying to fix this. And they're like, we're trying to fix this. And, what are you doing? I just told you what I'm doing. Go away. Well, I've got this handled. And just, yeah, two entirely separate parties coming together.
Yeah, I could see that. In my case, because it is so late in the campaign, my character would be a green dragon trying to get in good with Vox Machina so that the dragon could learn the seeding ritual that Vecna used so that I could become a god instead.
Nice. Totally predictable. Just gonna say.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's me.
It's you.
But that will bring us into our pre-show announcements. If my computer would actually let me access the notes the way I need to. Oh, come on now. There we go. Okay, so the first announcement, all the way back with episode 102, because I know we are, 2 weeks of missing content because of family stuff, and then my ISP deciding, hey, you don't need it or need internet this week. We're going to go ahead and move things to your new house, which I'm now moved into. Yay.
Yay!
We're going to do that early, and not when you asked us for it. Oy. But yes, Matt made a Reddit post about episode 102, and you can find that link and all of the following links in the description below. There are several new GM tips with Satine Phoenix. Link to some of them down below. They are all very good. The two that I really want to highlight is the GM co-op and knowing your audience.
Yeah.
Because, GM co-oping, sometimes your story or your player base is just too large for you to GM it alone. So you need that little bit of assistance. So the GM co-op, GM tips, gives you a little bit of insight on how to properly get all of that together. And then knowing your audience is how to tailor your game to the people who are playing. They may say they want one thing, but the way they're playing, just tells you that they really are wanting something else. So it gives you some insight on how to tell all of that. It has been announced that once again, GenCon will be hosting Critical Role Live this year with an even larger auditorium than last year. So definitely tune in to catch that, because that'll be roughly about the time that they're getting ready to start knocking on Vecna's door.
Knock, knock, knocking on Vecna's door.
Doom, 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 doom.
I will actually be going, guys. I bought myself and my girlfriend live tickets, and we got the VIP access. So if you happen to be going, whether you're general admission or you're also VIP, look for me, because you've seen my face. I know some of you have seen my face. It's all over my Twitter and my Tumblr at some point. So I'd be happy to meet our fellow Gilmore's Glorious Gossipers.
Indeed, and unfortunately I won't be able to be there, but definitely catch up with Jess.
Catch up with Kalia.
And Kalia. Kalia will be DMing while she's there. She couldn't be with us tonight, but, make sure you guys take some time to look for Kalia and Jess, have some fun, get your pictures taken, and who knows, maybe, just maybe, you might see your picture here on the broadcast if you are okay with that.
Yeah, man.
So, if you're not okay with it, just let Jess or Kalia know, and they'll make sure that it doesn't get put out into public. But if you want to have your picture shown, the episode after GenCon, we will be featuring pictures taken at GenCon, so keep an eye out for that. And then, of course, Sam had an Ask Me Anything over on Reddit. So you can click on the link in the description and find out what the fans wanted to hear about and get answers to. I hear that he's had some rather interesting answers to questions about Scanlan. last but not least, this week we found out that, or Matt announced that next week there is not going to be an episode of Critical Role. So rather than Gilmore's Glorious Gossip not having an episode, because we've already missed quite a few episodes, today we're going to do a double episode and talk about episode 103 and 104. And then next week, we'll talk about episode 105. So, whew. That's going to be a conversation.
Yeah. I have a lot to say about a lot of characters.
Yes. So, that will bring us to comments from last episode of Gilmore's Glorious Gossip. And keep in mind that last episode, we had just finished talking about episode 102. So, we hadn't yet seen Vax's resurrection. So this comment is about Vax's resurrection, and this one is coming to us from G-Man here on the YouTubes. G-Man says, "Personally, I'm in the camp of the Raven Queen bringing Vax back normally. I think she would let things be, but then again, this is Vecna, who stands against everything she believes in. I feel like this is something she would allow the rules to be bent a little. However, I think there will be some kind of cost on Vax's part. He might be more of an avatar than himself." And, you know, as we all know,
His prediction came true.
yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
Instead of it being a resurrection ritual that they did and the Raven Queen allowed, she just skipped the middleman and brought him back herself. So, at this point, Vax is what the original Revenants were meant to be. When you get into the lore of what the Revenants were and the fact that the Raven Queen created them, they weren't meant to be undead. They did get corrupted at some point. If you're going by the 4th edition lore.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yes. But back in 3rd edition, 2nd edition, Revenants were undead. So, but there we go. Come on, notes. My computer doesn't like things. Okay, hold on. I need to fix something real quick. And hopefully it won't crash the stream or my computer. So I apologize.
You want me to go on ahead then?
Yeah, go ahead. I know you said
All
that
right.
there were a couple of Talks Machina points that you really wanted to talk about.
Yeah. That was more so with, in terms of Vax's resurrection and him discussing things with the Raven Queen. So, as for now, there wasn't too much on it. We're not going to be doing too many Talks Machina moments this week, though there was quite a bit. I'll try and spurse them out throughout this discussion, but I'm not going to go over anything that wasn't too important. So this is episode 103, entitled "The Fate Touched." I think, right?
I believe so.
Fate Touched. Yeah. And we have the party picking right up where they left off with "Where's Vax?" And Scanlan is the first to kind of step up, and he sets his armor down in front of Vex. And she's asking him, where is he? And Scanlan just says, there's nothing left. He was just obliterated. We've got Vex asking where his soul is, asking if Pike can bring him back, and she doesn't think she can. Keyleth says she could do something, which we know she has access now to true resurrection. Is that what it is?
Yes, she has access to true resurrection and reincarnation.
Yep. But she's Keyleth being Keyleth, and anybody who might have that spell and, have any kind of conscience would be worried about using it. So she's unsure about performing the spell, on whether or not that's going to cause any sort of ramifications, because the Raven Queen might not allow it or anything.
Which, makes sense.
Yeah, and it was also a talking point on Talks Machina for her, Marisha, because, that's you're basically playing God at that point. You can bring anybody back. That you could bring a Percy's family back, and all it would take was just an immense amount of gold. And it's like, okay, well then what's stopping you from bringing lots of people back? And it's like, you have the power to do that now, so why don't you use it? And it's like, well then you're just playing God, and it comes into a question of morals, so.
Yeah, and that's also one of the reasons why there's often that question of, what does death mean in D&D with these spells?
Yeah.
But I really like Matt's answer to that with the difficulties, or the difficulty checks and all that. So.
Yeah, exactly. So, then she tells the party that she's going to need 25,000 gold worth of diamonds in order to get Vax back. And Vax really, really sad. It's like she's always been trying to scrape by with and gain as much as she can, keeping everything she has,
yes.
so that she can better herself, and make something of herself in the world, and to be comfortable for a year and then suddenly come back to not having the one thing that she can't really live without, and not have the right kind of materials to bring him back, is just heartbreaking.
Absolutely. But yeah.
Yeah. So, as at this point, Matt starts describing the forest, which is it's a dark forest, very low light with a whole bunch of mist on the forest floor. It's kind of squishy underneath, wherever they step, and the leaves are dark and broad. Percy tosses Grog, Delilah's body, for Grog to put in the bag of holding, but then they discover that the eye of Vecna is still, twitching about in the eye socket, and Scanlan goes up to make an Arcana check on it.
Yep, and it does not go well for him.
No, he rolls real low and pulls that eye out of its socket, rolling a 22 after inspiring himself, and fails the wisdom saving throw in order to, save against the influence from the eye. Starts pulling his eye out.
Yeah. Now, before we go too much... Well, no, we'll go ahead and continue with that. Never mind, go ahead.
Okay. Pike slaps the eye out of his hand, and it sails off into the mist, and he pulls his fingers out from behind his eye with a really sickening description from Matt. It's just, ugh.
Yeah, I had the taste of bile in my mouth there for a moment.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a good visual. Percy and Grog go off to see if they can find it, but they're not able to. At this point, Vex and Keyleth are off to the side, and they're just sitting together hugging Vax's armor. And Keyleth isn't really willing to help out much when people are asking her to, clear the mist, she's just kind of half-heartedly doing things to help him. And Pike is casting Locate Object, and she finds the eye, but discovers that the thing has dug itself into the ground. And Scanlan says, I don't trust that thing, and Percy says, the burring eyeball, are you sure?
Yeah, I mean, come on now. Of all the Captain Obvious things for Scanlan to do.
Yep.
Really? But, yeah, they eventually wrangle the eyeball into a box. And Scanlan starts to argue that they should let him hold on to it. Despite the fact that he almost plucked out his own eye in order to put the Eye of Vecna in.
I didn't understand it. Like, I can get kind of why you might want to, like, put it in that pocket dimension. He has wrist pocket now because of his daughter, Kaylee. But, dude, like, what's going to stop you from taking it out of there constantly and trying it again?
Yeah.
Like, dude, come on. They're not going to let you have the eye, so they give it to Pike to hold on to.
Which is a good idea.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought they should have put it into the bag of holding, because Percy repeatedly keeps telling Matt, but I don't think Matt kind of listened to him, that thing has a window, and it's not like Ashley mentioned that she had put it in a bag somewhere. So I was constantly, like, thinking about the mechanics of, does his eye see anything? Is it seeing them go to Sarenrae, to Pelor?
Well, here's the thing about that, though. On the side of Percy, yes, it does have the window, but it has a cover to it.
That's true.
But on the side of Vecna, it's the Eye of Vecna. Chances are you can put it on inside any mundane box, and if there isn't a spell protecting that box from scrying and that sort of thing, the eye is going to be able to see right through it.
Yeah.
So really, putting it in a bag or in a box is just to make sure you're not touching your hand to it, so you don't have to keep making those wisdom saving throws. But Percy sort of goes up to Vex and gets her attention, tries to get her focused, so they can discuss how to acquire the diamonds that they need for Vax's resurrection. Scanlan, sits there and reveals that he has a spell that can turn an object, or more specifically a creature, into diamonds. He just doesn't know what kind of object would be big enough to create enough of the diamonds that they need.
Yeah.
So they discuss that for a little bit, and then, as they're talking, they come to the realization that they don't recognize where they are. So they talk with Keyleth and go over what she was focused on when she plane shifted them. And the most prominent thing that she had said in what she was focusing on dealt with the Shade Murk Bog. But they're in the middle of a forest. And we get to see the healing that Vox Machina brought to this area of the Feywild. They are now in. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. I just was gonna say that it was really good of Matt as a GM to give him that little win, something that, like, after a huge defeat like that, your party's just gonna feel like, well, that was terrible. How are we gonna go forward from this? And then to give them that little win of something awesome that they did, so like they healed this forest, so it's better now because of them.
Absolutely.
John in the chat is saying, I really don't know if I'd allow you to true polymorph to make spell components. It seems cheap, even for a 9th level spell. Is it true polymorph that he's talking about? I thought it was a different spell.
That I honestly don't know.
I will look it up. You can continue talking. I will look this up and confirm.
Yeah.
And see if it's an actual spell.
See, here's the thing about 9th level spells, though. It says in both the DM's guide and the PHB that 9th level spells are supposed to be world-changing. Using a 9th level spell means that you are imposing your will over reality to such an extent that doing anything more than that would mean you are a god. I mean, you're casting 9th level spells, you're casting demigod level spells. So, making spell components that way? Sure. However, being a green dragon, using that level of spell is going to attract attention. So, you know, you want to use your 9th level spell to make spell components, there's going to be demons popping up. There's going to be Archfey popping up.
Yeah, he's right. It is true polymorph.
Okay. I don't have my book near me because I still don't have it unpacked quite yet.
I have all 3.
Yay!
Yay!
So, moving forward, you know, there's some little side discussion about Scanlan still wanting the eye. But Laura has Vex go looking for any animals, and she gets a nat 20. But Matt brings out in his description of how she's, you know, connecting with the land and all of that, that connecting with this forest is on a whole nother level of anything she's been used to. The forest seems to know that she's got Fenthras and she's the forest's savior. And so the kinship between Vex and this forest allows them, you know, once they finally all agree that, yeah, you know what, it's just time to rest. The kinship between Vex and this forest allows Vex to find a tree that seems to reshape itself to give them a place to rest.
It was so nice.
That
I was so
awesome.
happy.
And then Matt asks the cast to leave and send in Liam. So we get to see a one-on-one between Liam and Matt. And it starts out, Vax is in the dark, and he slowly becomes aware of himself. And he realizes that he's held aloft, tangled in threads. And the Raven Queen appears as he's struggling to break free. And she quiets him and brings him from the tapestry and asks him what happened.
I'm smiling like an idiot. I love her.
Yes. I was so over the top with this one.
Was hitting my girlfriend because this was we were sitting. I went over to her house that night, and we were watching it live together, and I just couldn't be more happy that we always watch Raven Queen moments together. It just works out that way. So I was literally slapping her side, going, "Oh my God, it's her! It's her! It's her!"
Let the world know Jessica gets into spousal abuse when she gets happy. Everyone take note and run away. Kidding.
Oh, John,
kidding.
Don't hate the Raven Queen. She's awesome.
So, actually, this is getting into something that John O'Brien said earlier. That this whole resurrection sequence with Vax brought a lot of things to mind for John O'Brien, and he says so few of them nice. That he didn't realize that the Raven Queen was going to be so manipulative. Yeah, I could see where he's coming from with that.
Yeah.
But by the same token, Vax was completely obliterated.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
When it comes to bringing people back, and there's only so many times you can bring people back. Like Percy and Vex, they've been brought back so many times. It's just Vex, especially. Is she the one that's been brought back the most now? I want to say like 5 times.
Right now, it's a tie, I think, between her and Percy. I think. And I think it's only been 3 times that they actually hit dead status.
Okay.
But we'd have to get into contact with crit roll stats.
Okay.
To 100% verify that. But, regardless, I don't think it was as manipulative as a lot of people seem to think. Because you have to remember, she's a god. She does have followers. In her case, she has very few followers. So, of course, she wants to be able to keep an eye on them and, make sure that they get their proper end. In Vax's case, making sure that he stays by her side when he passes because he's her follower. For Pike, making sure that she makes it to the Island of Respite. Or Island of Respite. In the Plane of Elysium. So, is it manipulative?
Yeah, I guess it depends on whether or not. Yeah, it depends on whether or not you're sympathetic to the Raven Queen or not, which I am, but some people might not be. So yes, I can see how it might be a little tad manipulative, but at the same time, I'm in the house where Vax died, and she's giving him a way to come back with her blessing, no less. I mean, if she hadn't, like this was her blessing. We don't maybe if Vax had come back through True Resurrection, she would have given it to him that way as well. But I mean, you don't know.
I look at it this way. You know, by becoming a paladin of the Raven Queen, he became a champion of the Raven Queen. Now that he has this particular blessing, he has become the champion of the Raven Queen.
Ooh. Nice.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And, you know, John O'Brien in the chat continues saying that essentially she tricked him into bonding himself further to her. I don't think so, because all of Vax's actions, everything that he has said to the Raven Queen, he has openly stated, I know this is tying me to you. I know this is, you know, I need to make sure I'm in your good graces and all of that. So, yeah. She didn't trick him into that. He walked into that full knowing.
Yeah, it was with his. He was consenting to it. He wanted to do it.
Now, one thing that I will say that I agree with, that John says, is that Liam went overboard in his anti-metagaming.
Yeah, that's the Talks Machina moment that I was going to mention, where Liam was actually opening up about what he was saying to the Raven Queen, to the cast that was presently there. He told them that, you know, I had thought she had prior knowledge about what Vecna was doing, that he was essentially trying to do the ritual of the seeding, the one that she had done, that she had knowledge of him doing that, but it turns out the Raven Queen doesn't. She's unaware of this, which is why she was asking him so many questions. She does not know what Vecna is doing. She does not know that he is that he's essentially her opposite and enemy, and needs to be destroyed like that. So he offered some good information, but other than that, he omitted a lot that should have been said that could help them. So there was a discussion that they should probably go and talk to her again and let her know that this stuff is going on.
Yeah. It really surprised me that Vex didn't even drop Vecna's name. Like, not really. But on another note, many thanks to Alexandra Knight in the chat. Comes in saying, Crit Stat says Vex died 3 times, Percy 2 times. But yeah. So there's that confirmation. Vex has died more than Percy. I stand corrected. I thought it was a tie between the two.
Nope.
So, alright. But, you know, in the end, the Raven Queen, you know, did bring Vax back as a Revenant.
Do you have stats on that?
I do not, because I don't have my books unpacked.
Okay. I don't think it's in 5th edition, though, so...
So, I mean, the stats that I know off the top of my head are from 3rd edition, when they were corrupted and just completely undead.
I know a few things about it. I know that, like we saw in the episode, that yes, you do have the location and the distance between you and the person who you are sent to kill. You know
Yeah.
exactly where they are at all times.
Yes.
When you are on that plane, he does not know when he is on a different plane of existence.
Yeah.
Then there is the part where he's basically immortal now. So if Vecna was to, say, kill him, or destroy his body would show up in a spot 10 miles from that location, completely healed, completely the
Yep.
same. But his equipment would not.
Correct. However, that only lasts until Vecna is destroyed.
Yes. So when Vecna is destroyed, his soul will return to the Raven Queen.
Yes. So, Vax is brought
Yes.
back.
John is pointing out +1 to Constitution.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, +1 to Constitution. So, Raven Queen brings him back and sets him in the forest near where the rest of the party is. And he stumbles out, and it's Pike who's on watch.
Pickle and string bean.
Yep. She scrambles out of the tree to talk with him. And slowly but surely, everybody wakes up. Percy comes down, and they are understandably
Wary.
yes, cautious.
Freaked out.
They want to make sure that he's not an undead that was reanimated by Vecna and then, or constructed by Vecna and then sent as a spy or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Pike casts
turn undead.
Turn undead.
Yeah. And they sit and chat it out, and finally they become convinced that he is in fact alive. I'll throw quotes around that. And give him back his stuff. Vex
Except the
keeps
boots.
his boots.
There was a lot of discussion. And maybe we can add another link where to the Talks Machina episode where Liam and Laura are basically Liam shoves Laura out of the hosting chair and proceeds to discuss very heatedly with her about these boots and why she took them.
Yes, I am trying to pull that up now.
Okay. So we have Percy being understandably really, really anxious about that, and not wanting Vex to get hurt. So when they finally discover that it's all him, Grog and Scanlan have both awoken at this point as well. Keyleth is just really, really...
She doesn't want... She's really self-protective, not wanting to get hurt by this being some sort of trick.
Yeah.
So she's the last to come down.
We get... They eventually find out from Vax what happened, what he is, how the deal went down with the Raven Queen, and they realize that Vax doesn't have a lot of time. And with that news setting in, Vax also tells them that the Raven Queen was basically suggesting that they need to go and consult other gods and gather more knowledge and more blessings in order to defeat Vecna.
Yes. So they decide to go to Vasselheim, and Pike and Percy immediately head to Sarenrae's temple, along with the half-elves. Grog and Scanlan decide to go and pay a visit to a particularly lucky individual that Grog allowed to pull a card from the deck of many things. Yeah, that doesn't go too well for them.
Nope, the guard that had been previously knocked out by Tyrion and Grog sees Grog walking through the streets with a really high roll from Matt. He just rolls nat 20s throughout this entire confrontation, and that guard goes and gets some help, and they are eventually surrounded by 4 guards asking who they are, what their business is, and are going to be leading them to prison. So they're trying to get their way out of it, and they fail a lot of their checks, and Matt rolls a lot of nat 20s on his insight.
Yes. At one point, Scanlan even throws up an illusion of what he thinks Dodie looked like, or should look like.
I forgot about that.
Which was, at the time, I'm like, come on, Scanlan has been in the same room as Tyrion and has seen Dodie.
Yes, he has.
So, yeesh. I'll let you continue while I put this link into the description real quick.
Okay. So, the guy realizes on a nat 20 insight that the guard, that this illusion is not real. And it's just more incentive for more guards to show up. So Grog ends up punching one of them, and Scanlan polymorphs him into a giant eagle, and both of them take off with a lot of guards shooting crossbow bolts at them. And they essentially have to go invisible once they land in order to go into hiding.
Yes. Like, oi. Those two.
They're the best.
Yes. Oh, right. So that link is now down in the description below, where Liam sort of forces the confrontation with Laura. But yeah, so switching back over to the rest of the party at Sarenrae's temple, Pike gets some information on where exactly Sarenrae is to be found. And then Pike, prays and speaks with Sarenrae, who tells her to come and speak with her. I guess you would call him head cleric of the temple, brings Pike a tuning fork.
Oh, no, it was directly Sarenrae.
Oh, it was directly Sarenrae?
Yeah, Sarenrae.
I thought he had brought it.
No, he was basically useless.
He went to get her something.
They had met with the cleric when they entered, who said, "Oh, well, this one guy would have the knowledge on what you need to go and directly talk to Sarenrae. He would have that knowledge." Then Pike sits down, talks to Sarenrae, Sarenrae holds out an object, gives her an object while she's praying through a vision, and when Pike opens her eyes and sees the statue, she looks down in her hands, and there's the tuning fork.
Oh,
and then the guy comes,
okay.
the guy comes back, and she's like, "Oh, well, I just talked to her, so turns out we don't really need you, so thanks."
Yeah. But the party all meets, they link hands, and they plane shift to the Isle of Respite in the Fields of Elysium. And that's where 103 ends. 104. I'll let you take this first half.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we get the party arriving in the Fields of Elysium on Sarenrae's island. The island, wonderfully described by Matt, is just filled with statues. And it's got a sourceless light above. There are multiple shadows around every object, and it's just a warm, tropical place that's just really pleasant to be in. There's Vex looks around at one point, and there's just no other life besides them. The ground is covered in these sand-like pearls.
Think Jamaica before the tourists got a hold of it.
Yeah. So it's just a beautiful place to be. The water is warm. We get the party taking a short rest. So Vax can reattune his armor to fire. Because in the distance, they see a tower with flame coming off the top of it. And it's a tower of basically Sarenrae in her statuette form.
Yes.
So we have the party sitting down to relax for a moment. Keyleth, at that point, also uses her inspiring leader feat, letting them know how much she appreciates them, how much she loves them. The picture that just came up, by the way, I'm just going to take a tangent. I love this picture. I love this artist. Please support them in everything that they do. Go check out their gallery. It is amazing. I love them. Yes.
This is the one by Allie. Like I said earlier, alymccart.tumblr.com. Wonderful art there. I hope I got that right. My notes aren't letting me scroll up to verify, so if I got it wrong, please forgive me.
I forgive you. The party gains 18 temporary hit points, and Vex attunes the Boots of Haste, earning her a lot of looks from Vax, and Laura's just basically going, "I'm gonna get so much shit on this from the internet."
Yes. It's like Broomgate all over again.
Oh, Broomgate.
Yes.
So we have the party heading inward towards the tower, with Pike leading, Percy and Vex following behind her. Then we got Vax and Keyleth, and then Grog and Scanlan in the back. No, Grog was up front with Pike. My apologies.
Yeah.
So again, Scanlan doesn't have anybody to be with, which is kind of that how that marching order went off.
Yeah. But the interesting thing is that as they're going along, they're not actually getting any closer to the tower.
No. It's like walking on a treadmill.
Like, they're actually, passing brush and all of that, but they're not making any progress. And, I mean, this goes so far as to Vex flying up on her broom to see about the progress that they're making, and she's watching them. They are obviously moving forward. She looks back up at the tower. It's still far away. She looks back down. They've made no progress despite the fact that they're... I mean, it's just weird.
Yeah, man.
So they try various things in order to get to the tower, including Pike wandering off on her own. At one point, Keyleth even turned around and walked away from the tower. Everybody started, while several other individuals were walking around with their eyes closed.
Grog.
Yeah. And eventually, Pike closes her eyes and focuses on her connection with Sarenrae. And behind her eyes, or behind her eyelids, she sees a burning light for her to follow. And when she opens her eyes, she's there. A little while later, Scanlan pretty much does the same thing. This time with Percy in tow. And they make it. Pike goes back and gets the rest of the party and brings them up to the tower. And they're now at the base of this huge crystal structure in Sarenrae's form. Sorry, I kind of took over your portion.
No, it's fine, man.
Okay.
Yes, Alexandra Knight in the chat is asking that there was a Twitter fight, and yes, Laura and Liam were on Twitter very adamantly fighting with each other about the boots.
Yes. Like, how awesome is it that they are so passionate about their characters that they are fighting over a pair of boots that don't even really exist?
I'm so happy.
It is just so amazing.
So we have the party enters this large tower, and there's a bonfire in the center, and the flames just sort of start to spiral up into the tower, and it pulses like a heartbeat. Hot, but not harmful. It's just hot and welcoming for them.
Yes.
And as they're watching it, Sarenrae comes out of the flames and takes shape right before them. And she welcomes them and says, "My Pike, you come to me after all this time, such a beacon in this very dark world. Welcome." And Pike kneels to her knees and thanks Sarenrae.
Now, on a
ahead.
side note, when Matt was first saying this, or saying that, I was really hungry. So I thought he said such bacon in this very dark world. And I'm like, wow, that makes sense too. Well, everything's better with bacon.
Okay. Cake isn't better with bacon.
I disagree. And I'm sure Grog would disagree too. Because you know what cakes are improved with bacon? Pancakes. I'm such a snot.
Anywho, then we get Sarenrae practically nose booping Pike.
Boop.
Which is just so cute.
Yes.
You have an image of it. It was adorable. And she asks all of them why they've come. You were going to say something?
I was going to say that image is actually going to be next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You'll see it eventually, guys.
Yes. But
so
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, after you.
Oh, all right. We get the party telling her of Vecna, and what he has done, what he plans to do. And Keyleth mentions that he wants to be like the Raven Queen, which is something that I hadn't known that they were, that they had knowledge of him wanting to do the same thing as her. That was like a point that Keyleth, or Marisha put together on her own.
Yep. But still.
Yeah. Um, and Matt rolled with that, and I think that like she was right that and Vecna's his actions kind of confirm that he is looking to do the same thing that the Raven Queen did. So, kudos.
Yes. But, she, Sarenrae says that the ritual of seeding was destroyed and the knowledge of how to perform it was removed from all beings, mortal or divine.
Yeah.
The only god left that would know would be Ioun. Which, the party says, well, Vecna has been taking over Ioun's temples, so maybe he got, the information from there somehow.
I wonder if Ioun's been corrupted by him.
No, I don't think Ioun has been corrupted, but Ioun is still... hold on, I'm going to sneeze.
Bless you.
Sorry about that. Ioun is still recovering from, the last cataclysm.
Yeah.
That the gods went through. But, Sarenrae does warn the party that if Vecna, completes the ritual, if he does become a god, he's going to be the only god on the prime material plane. The divine gate would keep the other gods from getting to him. So they would be stuck alone with him. But, with the idea of learning more in order to have more knowledge on how to defeat Vecna, the party asks about where Ioun would be, and Sarenrae says that Pelor would know more about where that location would be. And Grog eventually asks if she knows where Cord is. And Sarenrae sort of gets a little embarrassed, saying that she doesn't really know Cord all that well. They don't exactly see eye to eye.
Yeah.
So...
yeah, and Sarenrae also goes on to confess that she doesn't talk to the other gods as well, that ever since she was betrayed, she fell out of import. And then she says, until recently, and looks directly at Pike, and I squeed so hard. It was just, they love each other so much. I love it. It's like mutual fangirling between the two of them, and it was amazing.
Yes. And what really had me so happy was Sarenrae turning to Scanlan, telling him that his prayers haven't gone unheard. And of course we get a little bit of a chuckle from Sam because, he has Scanlan apologize for the swearing and probably some of the dirtier prayers.
Yeah, this also his reaction to that and his faith in Sarenrae also will bring me to more points that I'll discuss in later episodes of Gilmore's Glorious Gossip next week. But I don't think, you guys, that Scanlan is gonna get a blessing from any other god, because he's, dead set on Sarenrae now. That's my belief.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm thinking there are some gods, like, say, the god of fortune, or goddess of fortune, lady of the coin, whatever you want to call her. I can't remember that particular goddess's name.
Vondra?
Yes. Vondra doesn't care as much about whether or not you are a follower so much as, are you actually playing with luck? Which is something that Scanlan does quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I could see Scanlan receiving Vondra's blessing, even though he's not a follower of Vondra. Simply because Vondra doesn't care. It's all about luck. And who is taking the risk.
Okay.
So. But I mean, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
It's just a possibility. Sarenrae, poses one real big question to Pike, asking if Vecna is beyond redemption. So, Pike gives her honest assessment that, yeah, he's pretty much chosen this path and has no regrets about it whatsoever. Does not feel any remorse.
I wouldn't disintegrated her best friend. Come on. One of her good friends.
So, Sarenrae responds that if there's no redemption to be had by him, then Pike should smite him with all the power Sarenrae has granted her. And she reaches down, takes Pike in her hands, lifting her up to the top of the tower and growing in size at the same time to essentially match the tower. And as Matt says, just chucks her.
Yes, just chucks her.
No. That would have been hilarious.
Yeet!
But no. She has Pike look out to the sands, and all of those pearls that were, that were on the beach are the souls of the followers of Sarenrae.
Forgot to mention that they're also the pearls that Vex and Pike also put them in a pocket and saved them for later.
Yeah, I was getting to that. So, all the souls, they're down there sharing stories and they're the afterlife with one another. And they all smile up at Pike. And Sarenrae says to her, one day you will join us too. And we will have so many stories to share. And as she set Pike's down, Sarenrae blesses Pike with the blessing of the Everlight, giving her a +2 bonus to her constitution. On a bonus action, she can summon the wings of the Everlight, allowing her to fly for a speed of 40 feet for up to 10 minutes. While she is using the wings, any healing spell that she casts allows the targets of that spell to receive an additional 10 hit points. But once the ability is used, she cannot use it for another 7 days. So.
Gotta save it.
Yep. That is the oh shit button for Pike. But after that, Vex apologizes to Sarenrae for not realizing Sarenrae's importance. To which Sarenrae replies, that's really not a need for apologies. Of all the things the gods have created, they have created more and better. The mortals.
Yeah.
The whole reason why the mortals were brought out was for free will. And then Vex apologizes a second time. This time, handing Sarenrae the pearls / souls that she took, which Pike does the same. Grog keeps the one he was trying to smash earlier in the episode. But that doesn't really go too well for him, as when Sarenrae sends the party off to the Dawn Father, it gets taken away. It's no longer with Grog, and it's back where it belongs. But the party appears, is surrounded by a flash of light from Sarenrae. And when their eyes clear, they find themselves in an orchard surrounding a military-style fortress off in the distance. And around the trees and such, Keyless can't help but wonder about a twin to the Sundry in Whitestone.
I was looking forward to this moment. I really wanted to see if there were going to be Sundries here.
Well, yeah. I mean, I kind of knew there would be because it just makes sense. The Sundry is sort of one of Pelor's symbols. But still, I mean, seeing what they're like in Pelor's home is a whole nother level.
Yeah.
But, they are in this orchard, and Grog wants to eat some of the fruit. And of course, after seeing all the souls on Sarenrae's beach, the party kinda hesitates, and they warn Grog that the fruits might be the souls of the followers of Pelor. But as they move on, they pretty much come across souls harvesting the fruits. And, Grog is sort of insisting that, that should be proof enough that, as Percy said a little earlier, souls don't grow on trees.
They don't get turned into pearls on beaches usually either.
Yeah, that was funny. So, the group continues, and Vex is sort of doing a dolphin dive through the canopy of this orchard so that she can keep an eye on their progress, and they are actually making progress and approaching the Citadel. And as they
get really far.
Yeah, it's just really far away. And when they get there, it turns out that the Citadel is 4 times larger than anything the party has ever seen before. they get to the edge of the clearing where the Citadel is, and she tests the light that's out there to ensure that it's not going to harm them. It's fine. And as they go along, she decides that she wants to talk to one of the Sundries, see if it knows the Sundry in Whitestone. So Matt has her roll I think it was a survival check.
Yeah.
Either way, whatever check it was, she gets a nat 1 to find a friendly tree. And we are introduced to the most stereotypical New York Jewish tree ever.
Oh, it says in the notes just Jewish. I was wondering, like, because I know a lot of Jewish people. And I was like, that's not necessarily how they react. But yeah, a New York Jewish would say something like that.
I mean, this is it's like the grumpy old man that's trying to guilt you into everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it came across to me. And it was very stereotypical and a little unnerving, honestly.
It was great.
It was.
Because you think we're all Sentries, we know each other. It's just
Yeah. Well, my friend wants to know about the fruit. Is the fruit souls?
No, it's
no, the fruit's not souls. It's fruit. I mean, like, come on.
Yeah.
So, the tree vindicates Grog wanting to eat the fruit. And then, they wrap up the conversation, and Taliesin is my spirit animal, because the first thing he says after that conversation is done, what a tree you found. It throws such shade.
It's beautiful.
I love the puns.
Love the pun, Taliesin.
Yes. So, the group gets closer to the Citadel, and as they approach, 3 planetar guards, or planetar, however you pronounce it, 3 of the guards swoop down to stop the party at the doors. They find out why they're there, and essentially confiscate the Eye of Vecna.
They don't.
No, they do.
No. The party convinces them not to, and Pike still has it on her person at that point. They go into they have this discussion when they go into in Pelor's throne room. And Matt confirms that no, they do. They still, in fact, have the eye. They convince the guards not to take it.
Really? Because
Matt
actually, no, hold on, because I just finished watching this episode right before we did this, and Matt said they take it from you and we head inside. Now, back in the chamber when they're talking to Pelor. Pelor says, "Where is this item?" And the planetar hands it to Pike then, so Pike can present it because they are the ones that brought it.
Okay, it's such a trivial thing. I'm not gonna argue about it. So.
So, I don't know. Either way.
But yeah, didn't one of the guards also scan the party to see who was evil or not?
Yeah, if there was any evil amongst the party.
Yeah.
And the planetar, says there's no evil amongst the group, despite the fact that he sneered at Grog, which I just giggled at.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they as they're heading in to talk with Pelor, they pass what appears to be an army of Pelor's followers, complete in armor. The armor seems solid, but the individuals in the armor is sort of ethereal.
Do you think any of the souls were Percy's family?
It's possible, but even if they were, I don't think Percy would have been able to recognize them, and I don't think they would have been able to speak out to Percy.
Yeah, I don't either.
So, sort of a non-issue there.
Yeah.
But they get taken into the audience chamber, and there is no shadows in this audience chamber whatsoever. They're looking at the artwork and the...
It's just dick butts.
The words...
Dick butts upon dick butts. I wanted to draw it so bad, just one of them getting in close to look at it, just to see. I wonder what's drawn here. Oh shoot, it's just dick butt after dick butt after dick butt.
That would be hilarious. But, you know, all of the words that are written and all of the art, every line of it is made up of artwork and lettering, which is further made up by artwork and lettering, just getting smaller and smaller as it goes along. So there is a nice imagination nugget for you. Yeah. Because, you know, as Matt said, no one but a god would be able to create that. Which is not entirely true. It's just nobody but a god would be able to physically manifest it.
Yep.
So, but eventually Pelor comes in, and he's very matter of fact, to the point, and you know, it's pretty much a, hey, Vecna's back, doing his thing, trying to become a god. Pelor's like, okay, I will get the word out and try and get my followers in on it. And it slowly comes out that the party is wanting his blessing.
Yeah.
In order to get his blessing, Pelor sets a challenge. Now, at first, Keyleth tries to step up.
Before this, though, they destroyed the eye.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Can I?
Go ahead.
Yeah. The Vex was the one who brought it up, and they bring forth the eye, and he says, you know, I can destroy this right now, and the conversation goes that, what if we need it? Do you think we're going to need it? And Percy defers to Vex, being the champion of the Grand Mistress of the Grey Hen, and Pelor's attention shifts to her, and acknowledges that she's the one to finally decide that, yeah, go on ahead and destroy it. And the thing is lifted out of the box into the air and destroyed completely. Yes. So yay!
Yay, an artifact of Vecna is gone.
Yay, there's one left. And Vecna.
Yep. So, you know, looking for Pelor's blessing, not Marisha, but Keyleth tries to step up, and you can tell she's reluctant to do so, but she's trying to get things to move forward, because the rest of the party is just sort of hemming and hawing.
Yeah. Laura
So,
was saying that she was going to say something, but Marisha beat her to it.
yeah, I think it was just more of a miscommunication,
Yeah.
or at least a not. Uh, a misunderstanding more than anything else, because you could see Marisha looking at both Taliesin and at Laura, and Marisha was like, "Are you guys going to do anything?"
Yeah.
And then she steps up.
Yeah, Laura was too nervous.
Yeah. But, Taliesin, well, Percy does step up saying, well, if anybody here should, I think it should be Vex. So she steps up and to take the challenge of Pelor. And the objective is to get to the top of the tower, to the brazier of flames up there before it can be extinguished. The planetars, however that's pronounced, are going to be opposing Vex getting up there. And so combat begins, and Matt pulls out, like, he describes Pelor creating 2 hourglasses.
Yeah.
And then Matt pulls out 2 physical hourglasses.
Yeah.
So that's the time limit. When the sands run out of both hourglasses, done. So, they flip it over, combat begins. And everybody in Vox Machina is doing their best to help Vex get up there. And Scan the Man is the magic MVP again. He uses True Polymorph on Vex and turns her into an adult red dragon to get her up to that brazier even faster. And oh man, just the way this fight went down.
It was so cool.
You've got, at first the Planetars are all swarming Vex. She throws 2 of them to the ground.
No, Percy shoots 2 of the wings.
Percy shoots 2 of them, knocking them to the ground. Vex is essentially fighting one that has grabbed on near her neck that's trying to throw her into the wall. She's biting, she's scratching, she's struggling as she's going along. Eventually she's able to knock it off. She gets up to the brazier and dives into it. As she dives into it, her dragon form goes away. Her consciousness, or her sight, fades to black. And she's left to wonder if this is it for her. If this is the end for her. And Pelor turns to the rest of the party and says, "What does she mean to you?" And each of the party members, start talking about what Vex means to them. How Vex sees her as
Him, but better.
him, but better. How Keyleth sees her as, you know, dishonest and thieving.
No,
and,
that's Scanlan.
Well, yeah, sorry, that was Scanlan. Sorry.
I'm
getting things mixed up in my head right now.
Yeah, Keyleth was the one who said that she doesn't have faith in gods, but she's got faith in Vex.
Yes.
Scanlan starts off the conversation where he's talking about her faults.
Yeah.
But he also says that though she has those faults, her good parts shine even brighter than those.
Yes. And then Percy drops the bomb.
Yeah.
Percy talks about... I forget his exact words.
She's my future. She's the one I have chosen to spend my life with. She is the Grand Mistress of the Great Hunt.
She is my wife.
No, here's words are important.
Yes.
Words are important. He said she is Grand Mistress of the Great Hunt of the first House of Whitestone. He dropped that first, and then he said she is the one who I am betrothed to. Betrothed is more along the lines of engaged.
Engaged, yes. But here's the thing. When he said first House of Whitestone.
Yeah.
No longer third house, but first house. And Taliesin is one of those individuals that's very picky with his words. That was when so many of us picked up on, yep, that is confirmation they got married.
Yep, they got married. They're hooked. They're hitched.
Yep. So...
Also, let's not downplay Pike threatening Pelor, a literal god, by saying, if you hurt her, there will be hell to pay. Like, come on, monster right there.
That was... Pike has more spine than anybody else in that party, I think.
Definitely.
Even Grog.
Yeah.
Like, Grog has the self-confidence because he's big. Pike is little. And she just knows that she's going to be able to take on Pelor.
Pike's awesome.
Yes. So, anywho, so, with that, Pelor brings back Vex as his champion. And I forget exactly what she got for that. Unfortunately, I had to stop watching before we got started on this.
Believe it's she had for an hour. She emits light. I think she has a resistance on necromancy.
Yes.
She emits light in like a 40-foot radius, and anything that deals damage to her takes like 10 radiant damage back or something.
Nice.
Yeah. So she's practically a nuke.
Yeah. Pretty much. Man, this is how you... Like, if there was any doubts that Vecna was going to be the last arc, this interaction with the gods confirms it. Because that's the only... It's only in the final arc are you giving characters things like this.
Yeah.
So, with that, they turn and leave.
Nah, wait. They still had things to say because Pelor told them where they could find the key and showed them a map of the general location of where this guy is.
Yes, as I was going to say, they turn to leave and then realize, where do we go next? We need to find Ivan.
Oh, sorry. I didn't
No,
let
that's
you
okay.
finish.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Um, so they ask Pelor, and he creates this sort of holographic map to show them where to look to find the key to finding Ioun, and essentially stating that the key resides within a person. So they look at it and realize that it's near the. I have it written down here.
Cliffkeep Mountains near like the pools
Yes.
or black pools or something.
Yeah, hold on. The come on notes. There we go. The pools of Wittebach near the Cliffkeep Mountains. The interesting thing is if you look at the maps that are out there right now for Exandria, the Cliffkeep Mountains are a pretty long frickin' range.
Yeah.
Like, it spans almost the entire continent. Not quite, but almost. So if they hadn't gotten the more specific area of the pools of Wittebach, they would have been completely lost.
Yep.
But after getting that, the party bids farewell to Pelor, and the episode comes to a close.
Pelor actually gave Vex something, yeah,
It's,
a piece of his armor. Yeah.
Yeah, a little. I don't know exactly how to describe it. But sort of, just sort of the physical embodiment or representation of her power now. For lack of a better way of putting it. I don't know exactly what it does on its own, but we'll find out. But yeah, so that brings us to the end of episodes 103 and 104. And as I said at the beginning of this episode of Gilmore's Glorious Gossip, we are saving 105 for next week, because we are already over an hour and a half into this episode, and we try to keep it to 2 hours or less. So what did you think about this first round of Meeting the Gods?
I was ecstatic because not only do we get 2 episodes in a row. I mean, the first episode was pretty stressful, but watching it was just so much fun because I love the Raven Queen and anything to do with her. So watching that episode was just a joy. And then watching the next episode, nothing bad happened, and I was smiling the entire time. I just had good feels all throughout.
Yeah, but and that's the cool thing for me was that you had all of this, and in the back of your mind you're realizing they're preparing for the final fight.
Yeah. I'll be happy to have new character or a new game, but I'm also going to be super freaking sad because I love these people so much.
Absolutely. It's oh boy. I mean,
yeah.
That's boy. It's going to be so weird when we do get to that point.
Yeah.
I will say, the question has come up amongst us. What do we do with the show when it goes into the next arc, into the next campaign? Are we still going to be Gilmore's Glorious Gossip?
Heck yeah.
Well, Matt, the question was sort of relevant at first. Because Matt's first idea for the next campaign was set about 200 years into the future.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think our glorious Gilmore would still be kicking about 200 years later.
But the name was on Akiva.
True, very true. Fortunately, that was sort of, I guess, taken out of concern, or taken away from being a concern, because Matt said he's now thinking about 5 years into the future or so.
Mm.
So Gilmore will still be around. Yay, the boss.
The boss.
The boss. Hopefully he'll be an NPC. Which, let's hear from the chat. What NPCs do you want to be carried over into the next campaign?
Lich Gilmore, Kagan.
Oh, Kagan. Oh. But while we're waiting for the chat to catch up, because we are on a delay, of course, Akuma Mika sent me a rather interesting little tidbit of entertainment. If this would ever fully load up. Come on. Essentially what she did was she took the tune, or took the song Prince Ali from Disney's Aladdin and rewrote the lyrics for Prince Percy.
Oh my gosh.
And I told her I'm going to sing it as best I can.
Oh.
I apologize for all of the ear bleeding that is about to happen.
Oh god.
Make way for Prince Percy. Say hey, it's Prince Percy. Hey, clear the way in Whitestone Bazaar. Hey you, let us through. It's our gunslinger. Oh, come be the first by the tree to meet his eye. Make way, here he comes, ring the bells. Please tell Cass, oh, you're going to love this guy. Prince Percy, regal is he, Princey de Rolo. Genuflect, show some respect, like the Grand Poobah. Now try your best to stay calm. Keep track of the Whitestone alarm. Then come and meet the royal Prince Percy. I failed on that portion of it. I apologize, but it continues on.
Just put it in the link.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, we get the idea, dude.
But it was awesome.
I can tell.
I loved it. So, there you go, Akuma. Come on, there we go. And my browser is going so slow. But it will be in the description for Monday. Come on. Either way.
Okay.
So yeah, it will be there for Monday. We are going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. Thank you guys before I get into the outro, just thank you guys so much for your patience. I am truly humbled by the number of people that look forward to and watch and / listen to our podcast each and every week. And then tonight, I was watching the live viewer numbers, and normally we stay steady around 20. We actually hit 30 this time.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much. I mean, I know we've been gone for 2 weeks, and that even 1 week for a normal, I'll throw quotes around that, for a normal YouTube show, even missing a single week is usually a death sentence. People don't come back to that. But you guys have stuck by with us each and every week. You've been patient when there have been technical issues and we've had to miss a week, or real life issues, or just anything. And you guys are just awesome. So thank you so much for sticking with us. And my thing is not updating so that I can see the notes.
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, if you would.
Okay. Alright, guys, if you enjoyed the episode, click that like button and subscribe to catch us each and every week. You can send us your D&D questions using the hashtag DMsCorner. If you want to submit art, please contact us via Twitter or our Tumblr, Gilmore underscore gossip, or our Twitter, Gilmore -gossip.
So our Twitter is Gilmore _ gossip.
Oh, I mixed them up.
Yeah. You can also catch us via Tumblr, Gilmore-gossip.tumblr.com, or you can contact us directly. I'm at Akiva David at AKIVADAPHYDD.
I'm Jess, otherwise known as at Jessie LR Leaf over on Twitter, or you can find me at kurtwillsketch.tumblr.com.
We hope you enjoyed, and until next week, kick back, relax, and enjoy your games.
May all your hits be crits, have a nat 20 day, and I'll see you guys on the internet.
Good night, guys.
Miss you guys. Bye.